Hey there, everyone. This is a follow-up video stemming from a question I was asked by a student asking about charts within some of our data itself. So with that, I'm going to go over somewhat quickly how to add in charts within our data. With that, you can add it into your layout. I'm going to go over that. ArcPro has a lot of different options. I'm just going to show a basic one since this is an additional supplemental video. This will be more important depending on if you have a specific project. If you're trying to display something specific, it's going to be unique to probably your data set in terms of what you want to display. So with that, this is still coming from the Denver, Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment data. They have the life expectancy data set at the tract level up on their website. I went ahead and downloaded that. I did go through and I selected out the ones that did not have estimates for that specific tract. You can see those are the black ones here. So if I take those off, you can see one that's the airport, so that's not shocking out there. But some of these, they just didn't have estimates available, so I took those out so they wouldn't throw off the statistics when we're running it. Overall, there's 17 that were taken out, and we're left with this one here that has the removed ones next to it. So you might wonder, well, what kind of charts can you really make with this data? So this is life expectancy. So if we go into the attribute table itself, it's going to show us the life expectancy per neighborhood, and this is based on 2015. And you can see here it's broken down in years with that. So if we go into this, we have a couple different options. We can right click on our column here, so our life expectancy itself. We can calculate the statistics, which will give us a chart. Or if we were to right click on the layer itself, we have the option here to create a chart as well, and you can kind of pick which one you want to do. Knowing what I already want to do on this one, I'm going to do it within the attribute table. It's going to give us the same one. It's just a different process of it. I'm pre-selecting the variable that I want to display. So I'm going to right click and hit statistics, and it's going to pull up the distribution of life expectancy at the tract level. So give it a second and it's going to update all the fields for us. It's running it, and you can see here it's going to make a histogram chart for us and show the distribution. So with that, you can see that we have 190 different tracts, so that's our neighborhoods themselves. And you can see here some of our quick descriptives. We see that our mean is 78.2 with a median of 78.4, so that means at least 50% of our tracts or neighborhoods have a life expectancy up to 78.4 years. Since the mean is slightly less than the median, we know there's a negative skew to at least some degree. And if we jump down, we can see that it's there. Our kurtosis is okay. It's not above 3. It's approaching it. So we might want to keep an eye on that. But the cool part, and why I like this from a histogram standpoint, is we can change the bins. So this is our counts. So the counts reflect the number of neighborhoods on the side. So if we change this, and this is going to give us a number of different options here, but it's going to change the histogram into different bins along the x-axis here, so you can see the distribution a bit better. The other cool part is, so we know there's one neighborhood that has an incredibly lower life expectancy. So if we click on it, and we right click, if it lets me, it's just selecting it. But you can see if I were to zoom in, it's a partial one, so we're missing part of it that's on the outskirts of Denver. Ideally, if you were to do a bit more data cleaning, you would probably get rid of this one because the area itself is not heavily within inside Denver. But say we're interested in the one that has the longest. So we see the range here from 67.3 up to 85.9. So there is a wide array there, and that even gives us our min-max here, so we know what we're working with. But you can see that two neighborhoods have about an 85.4 to 85.9. It's these two here. So we can see where these higher neighborhoods are for life expectancy. So it's a pretty cool tool to have at your display. Again, if you're wanting to do a bit more, you can change the transformation process depending on the variable you have. The other cool parts that I like of this, you actually have a lot of capabilities to change up the table itself, the chart, really. So if you want to change the names, the graphics, everything with it, the titles, you can do that. So you have the options to format as much as you want in it. Not surprisingly, I like the dark side to it. I just hit clear, so I wasn't selecting anything, but it's still displaying the mean. So if I went back to the data and I say I selected the median, it would toss that line in there for me as well and put it over here. Same as standard deviation, so you can see that 68. So if we go plus minus 1 standard deviation, we can see that 68% of the neighborhoods would fall between these bounds here, which is pretty cool to take a quick look at and understand from a spatial standpoint where those fall. Again, these bins, I honestly just change this back and forth, so you can change it to what reflects better for you. But it shows you the overall histogram for it. The cool part is you can toss in the normal distribution line. You can see here what it's looking like. And depending on the bins itself, you can see that it might be a bit bimodal depending on how you split it up. But with that, we can go into the more of your general part. So our x-axis is life. Estimate. And then our y-axis is neighborhood count. Our legend title, just going to honestly keep it as just the legend itself. And then up top, the chart title is truly the distribution of life expectancy for 2015 was the year for this data. So you can see it updates along the way. So we're in pretty good shape there. If you want to get into format and change the fonts and everything with that, you can do that. It's not a big deal if that's what you want to get into. For now, no real reason to do that for our purposes. The cool part is you can see now you have a chart over here within your table of contents, your drawing order. I've already gone ahead and added a layout view. I'm going to exit out of my attribute tables just to show this. So I have the main part of it showing our neighborhoods here. So I can go in and change the symbology if I want to break it down based on life expectancy. So with that, if I go to appearance, I'm in symbology. Let's go back another one, single symbol to graduated color. Get into our choropleth again. Natural breaks is going to change to quantile, and I'm going to change this just to a grayscale to make it a bit easier to follow. Here we are. Life expectancy. Change this in reverse. So you can see here, even it clusters to where we have higher life expectancy, and this would be, it's broken up into quantile, so 20% here. You can see there appears to be some clustering based on life expectancy itself. So that's not a bad idea to see that. And then if you wanted to add in your chart, you have the ability to do so. So if I come back here and I'm just clicking on the map to not have the layer highlighted, we have a couple options when we go to insert, but what you're wanting to do is insert a chart frame. Similar to how you would add in a map frame, you can add in the chart frame. And since we have some blank space over here, I'm just going to throw the chart in here. With that, it brings it in based on the graphics. You already changed the format. Everything you have as part of it, it's within here. So this can be a nice supplemental addition to the overall map. Keep in mind, depending on what you want to show with this, you might have to go back and forth and update the graphics of it, depending on how well you can see it and how much of an influence you want it to have on the map. But with that, it's a quick way to examine your descriptive statistics for a variable, and you're able to see it spatially, which I think is the cool part. With that, we'll get into some of these a bit more as the semester course progresses, but it's a nice addition to a map. If you are interested in that and you think it helps tell your story, by all means, please add that into it. Have a good one. Bye.